I thought Hieronymus would always be by my side throughout anything, but I couldn't deny that he had disappointed me. It wasn't his fault. Summer classes left him a lot busier than he should have been otherwise. Due to the stress of dealing with my memory lapse, Potsdam had pushed some of his workload onto other teachers, but now that I was okay again, he was back to teaching and assisting with other administrative duties. But that left me with nothing to do, and so I found myself wandering over to the dorms to see what classes Virginia and Ellen were taking. They were there, along with Donald, who was there so often now that he'd probably just move into my old spot if they allowed him to. "Hiya," Virginia says as she looks up at me. "Haven't seen you since the night you met with Grabby's father. We figured since we didn't hear from you that things went well." "I was tortured," I say without any preamble, and their faces fall. "You are joking, right?" Donald asks, and I shake my head. "Let's just say we're not going to have any more family dinners in the next... ever," I tell them. "But that's not why I'm here. I was wondering what classes you all were taking. Potsdam told me I could wait a week to see if Grabby has enough free time to let me do my independent study with him." I have so many things to say that I'm totally not going to, Virginia teases. "Why don't you join our independent study?" Ellen asks, and this piques my interest. "The three of you are all in an independent study session together?" I ask. "With who? What are you studying?" "Well," Ellen's voice trails off. "You actually caught us at a good time because we were just about to head over to the gym," Virginia says. "That's where we meet him. Do you want to come with us? You can join in and see if you like it for yourself." I know their caginess is suspicious, but then again, it's not really like I have anything better to do. Hieronymus had already let me know that he was going to have a lot of early mornings and late nights, and I had already decided that I wasn't going to just let myself hole up in his room and miss him while he was away. But as I approach the gym, I see Jason standing outside and realize that this might not be such a good idea after all. "Hi there, Tori," he says, as amiable as ever. "Did you decide to join my independent study?" "That depends," I reply a bit nervously. "What's this independent study about? Red magic?" He shakes his head and is about to explain before Ellen pipes up. "I'm sorry, Tori. This is about me. You know how I want to live in the other world after graduation. Jason said he would help me learn how to do warding and how to travel there. That's what this independent study is about. I'm sorry. I brought it up without thinking about how you might feel about it, considering, you know." "I'm guessing this is about what happened to old Grabby a decade ago?" Jason asks while everyone shifts uncomfortably. "Yeah," Virginia finally answers for me. "He doesn't want her to go anywhere near it." "Tori, I get why he wouldn't want you to go into the other world, and it can be a dangerous place, don't get me wrong, but it's also a place where your magic flows more freely," he explains. "It's a great place to really feel your magic, especially as a wild seed." "What are you teaching?" I ask at length. "Like, what, specifically?" "Depending on how far we get," he puffs air out between his cheeks. "First, I want to cover warding. There are several spells you can learn to protect yourself. We're not going anywhere dangerous, but there's a few I'd like you to learn because you should. Then we'll work up to how to develop portals and how to close them, which can be more important than opening them. Your final task will be to go into the other world and find my mother's house. Not only will you pass the study and earn some merits, but you'll also get to taste some of my mother's famous chipoodle cookies." "What's a chipoodle?" Donald asks as he wrinkles up his nose. "Something you'll have to find out," Jason says as he winks at him. "So, what'd you say, Tori? You in?" I cross my arms over my chest as I wrestle with myself. I thought that students weren't allowed to actually enter the other world, but maybe the rule had been relaxed? After all, some students at Iris Academy weren't fully human and had lived in the other world all their lives. It wouldn't be fair to hold everyone to the same standard, although it was definitely more dangerous for some students over others. That wasn't the only thing that gave me pause. Jason was teaching this class. That was red flag number 1. It wouldn't be so bad if I was only learning warding, but Actually traveling to the other world? I wasn't eager to pass through the spirit gate again, but it was also possible that I could end up living there one day. Couldn't I? It was obvious that Hieronymous had his reservations about the other world, but I barely knew anything about it. And if my experience with Hieronymous's father had taught me anything, it was that I was going to have to prepare myself for situations I didn't expect, whether I wanted to or not. I'm in under the condition that no one tells Professor Grabiner anything about this. Nothing. Not a word. They all have the decency to look surprised, but I just cross my arms over my chest. As much as I appreciate you putting your education before your relationship, Jason begins, Grabby is still another teacher. Granted, one I don't get along with, but if he asks, I'm not going to lie to him. And I wouldn't expect you to. I agree with a quick shake of my head. And he's probably going to find out eventually, but I'm hoping that I can at least learn a few things before then. Like, I want you to teach us how to navigate the spirit gate without feeling like you're going to throw up. Jason chuckles at this. Well, that's an easy one. Don't eat before going into the portal. It can really mess with your stomach, especially on a first jump, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm not letting you go anywhere near the other world without first learning how to create an effective ward. That was responsible, and something that I could totally get on board with. The only thing I had to do now was figure out a way I was somehow going to explain this to Hieronymus. If I was going to tell him at all.